Okay, so recently, oh god, after the GTA 6 trailer came out, I ran across a tweet where it had a screen cap of I, it was definitely Elon Musk. The other person he was talking to may have been Ian Miles Chong.
Oh my God. Okay.
But yeah, so brace yourself. But they were talking about how they didn't like the violence in GTA. And they were like, yeah, no, this is wrong. And even Andrew Tate was separately talking about how I don't like that you can shoot cops. And I'm like, sir, if you could shoot cops, you definitely would.
Hey, I'm loving what I saw in that trailer, and I know I'm reading way too much into it.
well,
But
well, it,
my dream for GTA 6 is that she's actually getting out of jail for prostitution.
well, here's the point I was getting to is someone screen capped those tweets and said, why did you guys hate Anita so much if
Yeah.
you're pretty much parroting her points? And I retweeted that and I said, boobs. The answer is boobs.
Yeah.
And if you're wondering which way I mean this, both. Because
Yep.
either the problem is you didn't like Anita because you want to see boobs, or you didn't like Anita because she had boobs.
Okay,
And
let's face it though. Anita's whole thing is boobs scare her because competition. If
and
her whole thing, and I don't think this was intentional
no.
for her, but she did really just strike me as toxic femininity masquerading as feminism, the same way likable guy syndrome is a thing that she didn't want better depictions of women in media. She just wanted to eliminate the competition as desirable women in media.
And personally, I think that's part of what we see in comic books because one of the things that started Comicsgate was essentially why aren't the women as pretty as they used to be? And look, there was a lot of comic book art which was beyond cheesecake. It
Okay,
was
but the Rob Liefeld era was not attractive.
no,
That's what I don't get about that. They
no.
worship that era. It is like
But
whoa, that was
but
not, yeah.
But I mean, it's an interesting contrast where you get a lot of women who are curvy who talk about how much they loved comic book women because they saw
Yeah.
themselves represented,
That,
even if
that,
they didn't look as good as some of the
that was
drawings.
me. I
Yeah.
mean, I admit that part of the reason Baldur's Gate 3 pissed me off so hard is Jaheira's old, Jaheira's old, Jaheira's old.
Yeah.
And then I go and I present what it made me feel like. I don't say I feel attacked, but I said that it was just a reminder of, yeah, that's how the world sees me.
Hmm.
And the guys in the chat didn't get it.
And that's one of the hardest things is it's like being able to walk in someone else's shoes and take a step back. And that is why I do get a bit of a knee jerk when people demand representation, is because it's like, okay, you should not need to relate to a character in order to care about the story or care about what they're going through. Representation is important,
Yeah.
but I just feel like some people try to claim they can't relate to a story at all if it doesn't look like them.
Well, yeah, that's the problem with the person doing the speaking. Now, that being said,
Mm-hmm.
I think this whole thing has been framed all wrong, because we had a really interesting conversation on the Discord about how, like, whether we actually, when we play these video games with romances in them, whether we're putting ourselves in the shoes of the avatar.
Mm-hmm.
And because I said, I mean, let's face it, when I play these games, I don't believe that I'd have a hope in hell with any of these people. That they're all clearly looking for some very athletic hard body. That ain't me.
Mm-hmm.
And that seemed to be the general consensus. And I'm a bit worried that men these days have given up because they've been infected with a lot of the brainworms that we normally associate with women. And that Taylor Swift song, you know, where she's pining after a guy who is not at all interested in girls like her.
Mm-hmm.
And if you keep pining after the girl who doesn't want you, and you know, in this case, she's pining after the guy that doesn't want her, and not valuing the friendship for what it is, you know, you're gonna miss the girl that is interested in you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's true. You know, I'm using a Taylor Swift song, so this is not just guys. And the fact that we have to say not all guys, not all every single time just does it does stick a pin in that sensitivity, right?
And it's like at first I would see women getting upset about, yes, I know not all guys. Stop saying that. Stop making me say it. Now I get it. Where I'm like,
Oh, I
guys,
you know
chill.
what? I am taking my own advice of it is a very small thing to say, I know this is not all guys.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this doesn't apply to everybody. This is exactly what we say is just consider the people you're talking to and just
Yeah.
consider how they would feel, like how you would feel in this situation. You know, just do a little bit of work so somebody can be more comfortable. But I mean, right now we're in a situation where women are not going out. They're not.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of guys are very lonely accordingly. And, you know, you go to any of the dating advice things, any of that stuff, and they keep saying, you know, you got to go from thirsting to thriving to meet women. And I got guys going, how the hell do I do that? How do it really is a battle with yourself, you know, and the reason I bring up to these guys the fact that, look, I am a, you know, 45-year-old, not terribly feminine, you know, ginger. I am one of the most unfuckable things on the planet right now. And some guys I think that's me being bitter, and it's not. It's like, look, dudes, I get it. I
Mm-hmm.
get what it's like to be the one nobody wants. I am no one's ideal. I am not telling you to do anything I have not found a way to navigate. And the way I did it is it's like, look, I'm not going to hold that against anyone, you know? So Megan Thee Stallion's fucking gorgeous. You go, girl. You know, and I know I go on about the no boobs, no butt, no problem thing. But you know what? Taylor Swift's gorgeous. And, you know, like
She
we
is.
said in the Taylor Swift episode, um, as a businesswoman, all the success. She wanted it, she got it. Good for her. I do not have to turn women with more social status into the enemy. That's stupid. Because I do know how I was treated like a stupid little slut when I was younger and seen differently by the world.
Mm-hmm.
Why would I do that to other people? That's dumb. Because, and that's what's so weird. I was the same person. And it's amazing how heels, makeup, and big hair totally change the way the world looks at you. And that's why every woman knows that. And that's
Mm-hmm.
why I don't get these guys who are, they do internalize. And again, this is not the fault. I am not saying it is your fault. I am saying I don't get it. Because the whole 666 thing has really gotten in some guys' heads.
Mm-hmm.
And for people who don't know, it's it varies. 6 foot tall, six-pack abs,
Six
six-figure
figure
bank account,
income.
and some people add another six. But I was talking to a guy and he said, no, it really is the height, because you don't put your penis size on a dating profile. And there
And
are some women who, yeah, make a big deal about a guy's height.
But again, if the woman is that shallow, why do you care what she thinks?
And that because they think all women secretly like that.
And
And then
and
there's
here
Zendaya.
and here's the thing is I've said before, the problem with dating apps is you have too many options. So you have to
Mhm.
create parameters to work in between. And my boyfriend's 6'5". I'm not about to start saying I don't care about height. I got lucky. But it when you get to know someone, it's
Yeah, that's
and
not, yeah.
dating apps don't actually encourage you to get to know someone
No,
before
yeah.
judging their appearance. And that's why, again, my boyfriend and I were friends for almost 7 years before we got together. We met through How to Train Your Dragon fan fiction. Neither of us were there looking for a relationship.
Yeah.
We met because of a shared interest and because we both happened to be lonely at the same time. So we wound up on the same websites.
And I think that that really sticks a pin in it, doesn't it?
Mm,
Because you met for other reasons. You weren't active.
yes.
Well, you were looking, but you weren't looking there.
Yes.
And that's the thing where it really is as simple as, all right, nobody wants me that way. And so what? You have to go out and you have to do other things. Because especially, I mean, God, in the gaming industry, the progressives are so full of crap.
Mm-hmm.
They are so full of crap. The behavior you see these guys getting into, and I don't spill more tea because I can't prove it. And I don't want to get into that fight of, well, you have to prove, you're just jealous, you're just, all that stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like, I know there have been 3 different times that I was left to wait a half hour to get an actual coverage of the fucking game so that Felicia Day could bring her entourage into the Dragon Age behind closed doors. I had a job to do. She was there to be a face. So don't you fucking tell me that company really prioritizes women in the industry. They prioritize some women.
Mm-hmm.
And that was, and then they lied to my face about the Canary. So that was it for me and BioWare. There's some great people who still work at BioWare, but the forward facing stuff, they were the ones that started this pick your plumbing, spin the wheel of sex scenes as rewards as opposed to actually romantic content.
Mm-hmm.
And that, I mean, that is toxic in its own right. The fact that they kept stepping away from heroism. It's what Alan Moore bemoans in his work, that more and more it's about James Bond and the throwaway sexual encounter of the week instead of actual romance.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think that I think that really a lot of the modern toxicity, and I know this was a very different approach to toxic men than I think people thought we were going with, but it really is a loss of faith and a loss of hope and a loss of the belief that women aren't evil demons from Mars. That there are good ones and there are bad ones.
No, no, no.
And
We're supposed to be from Venus, remember?
yeah, well, I had John Carter in my mind
True.
there. She was from Mars. She was the Martian. Women are from Mars. Fight me. But that's where my references are. But uh, you know, the I think the randomness and the chance and sort of the giving yourself over to the universe element of it does go against the whole be a man, take what you want thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I really understand that that's hard. Trust me, I bump up against the other side of it. all the time. And, don't be a bitch, cut both ways. It means something very different when you say it to a woman and then you say it to a man.
Yeah.
And, it is just, don't let the bitterness poison you. Feel the bitterness, feel the bitterness. It's okay. You got to feel it and then put it in its right place. But don't let the bitterness poison you to the point that you start infecting every environment you're in. And
Yeah.
that actually is what, it's so weird, right? Because that actually is Astarion's story. He's so tired of being abused that he seeks power. And the number of female players who picked the ritual ending and then got upset that they got what anyone who knows actual fantasy tropes knew what was coming. That's the bad choice,
Mm-hmm.
But no, they wanted to be okay, baby, you can do it. And even though they say, I like that he's not like other guys, so why did you push him into power? Why couldn't you just, because the way you kind of earn approval with him is counterintuitive, because he does change throughout the game.
Mm-hmm.
So the very things that make him disapprove early on actually make him approve. When he starts to see that, no, you're not going to use him, and that isn't necessarily the way of the world, because he approves of you being kind in some ways. He's freaked out by altruism, which you can completely understand why. And the whole he's not like other guys thing, that's just emasculating him.
Mm-hmm.
And when you see a woman talking that way, she's not actually looking for an equal partner. She's looking for a toy. She's
Yeah.
looking for a dolly.
A pretty accessory.
Well, a new daddy, a sugar daddy, going from daddy to sugar daddy.
Mm.
Because there are certain things that are just male typical.
Mm-hmm.
I can't help some of them. I don't expect a guy to. But that whole thing of the expectation where if he comes from a family where his emotions were always shut down, he's going to see that as normal in women. And he's going to seek out women that shut him down. And then he's going to say it's all women. And that's the toxic part. It's poison.
Your mom and your ex-girlfriend are not all women.
There's a reason. It's tough when mom's toxic,
Yeah.
It's really tough. It's uniquely tough for men. Maybe we'll have to do something about that another time. But I think we've done enough. I mean, that one went really long and it went in a direction I didn't expect. So I think that's awesome. So this has been Two Women Talking. I am Tomboy Leanna Kersner.
Song to be Erickson Girly Girl. And I don't have anything to finish up with today.
All right. I'll just say, guys, I'm sure a lot of people need a hug right now because this is probably tough. And yeah, we went you went soft on the guy. Yeah, because neither of us were raised as men. We're aware of this. We're taking our own advice and being sympathetic to the other side. We can go rougher on women because we can call bullshit.
Yeah.
In a different way. So for people like, you have a double standard. No, we didn't. We treated everybody equally. And that means, not shutting anyone away except perhaps Taylor Swift. Calidus Chronicles Volume 1 available at Amazon. Buy the book, Song WRs, and I almost forgot to plug it. All right. Thanks everybody for listening.
Bye-bye.